Welcome back, humans, to my tablecloth on the floor. Today we are going to, let me actually say who I am. I always do this. Oh my god. Hello, these are the hands of Yelly, or Yellbell Beauty, here on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. So today we are going to dupe some palettes. I think the first one we are going to dupe is the new Gourmande Girls and Doodles by the Bunny Nightshade palette. I'll put a picture here on the screen. I think that this is definitely dupeable with what I have in my collection. It will hopefully, stop me from wanting to buy it. So let's start there. But first, I have one ongoing BYOP. I would not be upset if I had to break this up because it's not really together yet. So this is like a little sneak peek for you. So Miles from Multichromatica and I are working on a better version of the Sailor Moon palette because ColourPop sucks. Also think that one that I want to do on film with all of you is I want to build like my version of the Naruto palette because that also sucks because ColourPop can't do anything except throw darts at a board and then pick random names for colors that don't make sense. But anyway, if I had to pull one or two from here, I wouldn't be super upset because this isn't really, in my opinion, finished at this time. And yeah, so I could pull some from here. I don't know if I would need to though, but just in case, I'll put that on the side. This is a 14 pan palette, so I think that this should be fairly easy to build out. So I'm gonna put this on the side. Some of my big palettes here are probably going to have a different layout than last time. That is because I recently rearranged some of them. I do think I want to rearrange them some more, but that seems like another day activity and not today because I do have a wedding tonight, so I need to somewhat look like a human at some point. So we'll do that on another day. So to start off, let's look at this palette and let's do the mattes first. So there's a bright yellow, don't see that in here. Bright green, don't see that in here. Gray, nope. Light purple, that we do have. This is Sequence from Lethal, so that will be our shade Belladonna. Okay, next there is like a fuchsia-y purple, then a really deep purple, which I think we can pull this shade right here for that really deep purple. This is Overdrive from Lethal. And the last shade looks black to me. I'm gonna look through some swatches right now. A few people put them up. Let's see. Yeah, that looks like a black. So I could pull from this palette right here. This is a black. It's from ColourPop. It's opaque. It's from the Of Quartz palette. So I will pull this one in. Here are most of the shades that I've depotted from palettes, so I think we could find some shades in here. Yellow, I have one in mind from Copacetic, which Copacetic's in another palette right now. The green, though, I think we could do this shade. This was from one of the ABH Norvina mini palettes. I think it's from the Mini 2. I forget what this is. It's A something on the back. It like rubbed off. It's like A1, 2, or 3. I honestly don't really care, to be honest with you, but it's a green. It's like a blue-based green. There is a light gray for Deadly. I think this could work. This is from a Juvia's Place palette. It's from the Taupes palette. I depotted it. There were no shade names in that palette, so it's just a shade from there. So we're gonna pull this in for Deadly. This one immediately came to mind when looking at the shade Nightshade. This is Single from the Morphe and James Charles palette. I feel like I have to say this every video, but I have no want to purchase anything else from Morphe ever again, nor do I support James Charles, but just want to put that out there. You can see there's glitter on it right now. That's literally just because like something over here exploded some glitter on it. It is the matte shade. So I think that's all of our mattes except the yellow. Now the other yellow besides the Copacetic one that came to mind is actually this one. This is from, I recently depotted my Ace Beauté Classical Paradise palette. This is Maze. Swatching this, it looks pretty spot on. So we're gonna use Maze from Ace Beauté. So we have all of our mattes in here right now, so I think it's time to start pulling in our shimmers. That first shimmer on the top right Enchanter looks like a white to pink duochrome. I do have two shades in mind, so let's look at those. The first one that I have in mind is actually from the Viseart Petite Koi palette. This is really dirty right now, but this is the shade Tycho. So it's like a white to pink. I need to wipe off the top layer, though it has some green on there. But I think this is pretty good. So the other one that I had in mind was from Carolina, Pixie Glow's palette with Black Moxie. So hold on for that. So none of the shades in Carolina's palette are named, but this is also a white to pink duochrome, but it's really smooth. It has a lot of that like dimethicone in it. But there is actually one more that just came to mind. Hold on, let me pull it out. This is Hyacinth from Quicksand Cosmetics. It has both blue and pink in it. But I also lied. There is really one more this time, I promise. It's from Copacetic. Let me pull that out really quick. So I just dropped this and it exploded everywhere. But this is Floriage from Copacetic. And it's along the same lines, white to pink. So let's do a quick comparator here. All right, let me get my watch out of the way. You can see my wonderful watch tan line, can't you? Here we have Tycho from Viseart. This is the shade from Carolina's palette. I believe it was called the In Bloom palette. I don't know if Black Moxie makes it anymore. This is Hyacinth from Quicksand Cosmetics, and then this one right here is Floriage from Copacetic. Looking at photos, none of these are like really spot on because it does really have more of a white base to it. But if I were to pick one that I think would probably best serve this palette, I think it would probably be Carolina's shade because it's like very pink. And this palette already has a lot of purple going on, where like Hyacinth has like blue and pink, so it flashes kind of purple. Tycho actually flashes like more of a purpley pink. Floriage would also be pretty good, I think. Let me think on it. All right, so our next shade is like a light purple, and it looks like it might have some gold sparkle in it in the pan. Looking at swatches, it's much lighter than it looks in the pan, but I think I want to go for what it looks like in the pan. So let's see what we have that is similar to that. Oh gosh, okay, we have a lot of options here, particularly the Touch of Glam ones. I actually can never remember what these look like, these Sandman ones, until I swatch them. This is a newer one I have from Touch of Glam. You can see it is literally untouched. But let's swatch them out and see. This right here, I don't even have to look at the back. I could tell you this is Regal from Cleona. It's one of my favorite shadows, I think, in my whole collection. You could see the dip in it. Oh, it's just so good. This is Gumdrop from Sydney Grace. This is from the Sweet Indulgence palette. It's much more of a pinkier purple now that I swatched that out. This is Midnight Nova from Divina. It has kind of a pink flip to it. This is Divine Sky from Quicksand Cosmetics. That one has more silver in it. I have two of these. I have two of these. This is also Divine Sky from Quicksand Cosmetics. Do these look exactly the same? Yeah, those are the same eyeshadow. I don't know why I have two of these. Okay, so this is gonna go on the side and I'm gonna give this to somebody. This is Don't You Be Salty Now from Touch of Glam. Her shadows just have such a good texture to them. Oh, touching them just makes me like ASMR tingle. Okay, that's a terrible swatch, but you could see how pretty it is. I think I kind of wiped away Divine Sky here. Let me add some more of that just so we get a... There we go. Get a comparator here. And then we have the two from the Sandman collections. This one is Dream, this like purple, blue, pink one. Oh yeah, I think that might be what I'm looking for. And this one is Despair. That one is much closer in base to Sydney Grace Gumdrop. I do not have a code with Touch of Glam, but a lot of people on the community codes list do, so definitely check it out down below because I do think these shadows are very beautiful. Same thing with Cleona. and Sydney Grace. I do not have codes, but people on the community codes list do have codes. Quicksand Cosmetics, to my knowledge, nobody has a code right now. You could correct me if I'm wrong in the bottom. I'm torn, but I think I'm gonna go with this Sandman shadow right here. This is Dream from the Touch of Glam Sandman collection. I do not know if the Sandman collection is ever coming back. It was a limited edition. I think these might be gone for good, unfortunately. Okay, next we have the shade Poisonous, which is a purple gray, which I actually think that is better. So I'm changing my mind. I think for Dream we're gonna use for Poisonous, which goes here. For Hypnotic, let's do Regal from Cleona. Again, this is a little hard to read on the picture, but I believe the next shade is called Night Fury, and it looks like a gray-based shadow with a purple shift. I have to have something like that. Let's look. While we're here, I could put the one Divine Sky shadow back. The other one is staying out for now. Okay, gray-based shadow with a purple shift. I don't think there are any here. These are all my Quicksand Cosmetics up here. Then these are Mon Professional. These are all Shine by SD. Yeah, that's just like too purple. Okay, I don't think we're gonna find one in here. I don't think we're gonna find one in here either. The closest one would be, this is from Carolina's palette. Again, it doesn't have a name, but this is like a true black-based multi-chrome with the purple and blue shifts in it, but it's not what we're looking for. I did think of this shade. This is Space Dog from Sugar Drizzle. This was in the, what is that one called? The Pizza Kitty palette, but it is more of like a gray to blue. This is Happy Accident from Sydney Grace. I think this is just gonna be too bright in comparison. I mean, it just like looks like a true purpley silver. Oh my god, contender for that white one, I completely forgot. This is Red Mist from Sydney Grace. I don't know if it's even picking up. It has a very slight pink shift to it, but I think we'll still go with one of the two that I have pulled. Okay, these are all my Terra Moods and Divina, so we could put this one back. The one from here that comes to mind, what are those ones from Terra Moons? Is it Veil Nebula? That's like a gray with purple. I think this one's Solar Expansion, right? Yeah, this one's Solar Expansion, and then I think it's this one is Veil Nebula? No, this one's Shattered Stars. Where's Veil Nebula? Here it is. This is Veil Nebula. Yeah, okay, so then this one is Veil Nebula. Veil Nebula might be the closest we're getting, but I actually do have one more shadow in mind. So hold on, let's swatch out this one's Veil Nebula. Why didn't I have never swatched this shade. Ooh, that's pretty. I mean, I don't think it'll work in this palette. What even is this? It's Brittany Bitch by Touch of Glam. Just, you know. That is like a black to purple to red, but beautiful nonetheless. But the one that did come to mind was this one. I think this is Bewitched. Yeah, this is Bewitched from Touch of Glam. It actually comes in a square pan. I repressed it. Maybe not. I thought in my mind for some reason it would have more of a shift, but it does have the base that we're looking for, like that same purple shade. So I am going to take this. I'm gonna put up, you could see that I'll put up right here the swatches that Macro Makeup did. Follow them on Instagram, but you could see the shade looks very much like this, but it definitely has a darker base to it. So we'll pull in this one. Okay, so that is our top row with the exception of that white shade. I actually won't be able to fit 14 across here, will I? Or 7. Wow, what is wrong with me? I won't be able to fit 7 across here. Maybe if I turn the Cleona one on its side. Yeah, that won't fit, but okay, we'll figure it out. But it's gonna be one of these white ones. I think we have enough texture going on here, so I'm actually gonna take the one from Carolina's palette because it's smoother, and I'll put Floriage from Copacetic back and hold while I get a larger palette to put this in. I would have liked to use a slightly smaller palette, but I literally have nothing in between the size of this and this, like, that would fit across. So that's where we're at. So we have our whole top row done. First, we have that shade that Carolina Pixie Glow made with Black Moxie in her palette. This is Maze from Ace Beauté. Regal from Cleona. That ABH Norvina shade. Dream from Touch of Glam. A Juvia's Place shade from the Taupe palette. And then Bewitched from Touch of Glam. And that is our top row. What we have so far on our bottom row, this is Sequence from Lethal. This is Single from Morphe. This is Overdrive from Lethal. And this is Opaque from ColourPop. So let's get started on our bottom shimmers. Dream Shade looks like a light purple shimmer with kind of a pink to it. It's almost like the shimmer version of this. So we had a few earlier that I think could work. Let's go back to them. So this is Veil Nebula from Terra Moons. A Cleona shade actually comes to mind. I think it's Bloodline, but let me double check the name. I'm never confident. This is Shard from Cleona. Maybe that's not the one I had in mind. Which one was I? Oh, I was totally thinking of this one. This one is Bloodline, I think. Yes, this is Bloodline from Cleona. Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking of. It's gonna be this, no contest. Next we have the yellow shimmer, which is Flowering, and the first one that comes to mind is Horizon from Pretties for Your Face. I am a Pretties for Your Face affiliate. My code is YellBellBeauty. That will save you 10% even during sales, but it is affiliated. I appreciate it if you use it, no pressure. But this is Horizon. And I think that that is perfect, so I'm gonna pop that in the palette. Okay, the last shimmer is Hellebore, which is kind of like a deep purple gray with a blue shift. So again, the first one that comes to mind is that Sugar Drizzle shade we looked at earlier. Like this comes to mind. But I think it's deeper than this. Is that even focused? Or are you just looking at a blurry hand? There we go. But I think it's deeper than this. So let's see what we got. This is Shattered Stars from Terra Moons right here. I think it's closer in like the spirit of the shift, that like blue in there, but it does have a deeper base than that. I mean, one that comes to mind, I think this is Dragon Hollow from Touch of Glam. I mean, that might be the closest we get in my collection. This is Intergalactic from Quicksand Cosmetics. Kind of swatched that awkwardly with my left hand, but very beautiful, but I think it's too purple. I think Dragon Hollow is still the closest. This is Mona Lisa from Quicksand. Yeah, I think it's just gonna be Dragon Hollow. I can't think of any others in here that would maybe have the spirit of this shadow. It is like a very interesting color to me. Oh wait, what about... This is Cosmic Collision from Mon Professional. Oh, why did I think this was much more blue than it is? Really great shadow, not at all what I'm looking for. What about this one? This is Grunge Master from Mon Professional. Oh yeah, that is a way more green also. I totally thought Cosmic Collision had more blue in it. Some last ditch attempts here. This is Interstellar from Quicksand. I think it's too purple, not enough blue. The last one that comes to mind is, I think this is the new Cosmic Aura. Oh no, this one's Shaman. This is not right. Where is Cosmic Aura? Oh, I know where. So that's Cosmic Aura up there. I mean, I think it's just going to be Dragon Hollow, but these are all very beautiful, but I don't know if any of them necessarily capture the spirit of that eyeshadow. So this is our finished palette right here. I just popped in Dragon Hollow from Touch of Glam so I could go across really quickly before we do some swatches. So this is Black Moxie and Pixie Glow's collab. It was in a palette. It is not named. Maze from Ace Beauté. Regal from Cleona. This is a shade from the ABH Norvina Volume 2. This is Dream from Touch of Glam from the Sandman collection. This is a Juvia's Place shade that was not named in the Taupe palette. This is Bewitched from Touch of Glam. This is Sequence from Lethal. This is Bloodline from Cleona. This is Single from Morphe and James Charles palette. Horizon from Pretties for Your Face. Overdrive by Lethal. This is Dragon Hollow from Touch of Glam and Opaque from ColourPop. Okay, here is our finished palette swatched out. Again, there are some that I just did not have a direct dupe for, but I think we captured the spirit of it. Let me know what you think below. But one more time, I'll read off the shades. Black Moxie and Pixie Glow. The second one here is Maze. This is Regal from Cleona. This is from an ABH Norvina Volume 2 mini. This one right here is Dream from Touch of Glam. This is from an old Juvia's Place Taupe palette. This is Bewitched from Touch of Glam. This is Sequence from Lethal. Bloodline from Cleona. Single from the Morphe and James Charles palette. Horizon from Pretties for Your Face. Overdrive by Lethal, Dragon Hollow from Touch of Glam, and Opaque from ColourPop. Right, the second palette we're going to do today I'll put on the screen here, but it is the new Sugar Drizzle Mojito palette. I don't know if I want to do like shade by shade dupe, but I do want to capture the spirit of those greens and yellows before summer is over, because I feel like that was a really fun summery color story they have. Okay, we got our little 9-pan ready here, so let me pull up the swatches from someone. Let's see, who's an affiliate? M. Jones? Yep, she did swatches. Perfect. Okay. So I'll pop M. Jones swatches here on the screen. If you do not follow Monica on Instagram, make sure you follow Monica on Instagram. She does really great swatches. So the first shimmer that I'm seeing here in the middle, the first shadow that came to mind was Horizon from Pretties for Your Face, which we used in the last palette. But let me see, just because that yellow I think is where my eye goes, it's the focal point of the palette. Let me see what other yellows I have that we could use here. Okay, so two in here came to mind. This is Chicky from Menagerie. This is Fiesta from Copacetic. It's kind of dirty right now, but this kind of reminds me of Divina Fairy Fire in Essence. I'm pretty sure this has a pink shift to it. This is Throne from Cleona. That one might be, not bad. It definitely has pink in it. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. This is Sunshine from Quicksand. This is the All from the As Above collection that M. Jones and Bizarre Volta did with Shine by SD. I think this also has a pink shift. I don't know why yellows with pink shifts are like very popular. It's really pretty, but it is totally not what I'm looking for here. This one right here is Sunbeam Citrine from Quicksand. I think this might be too gold. Oh yeah, next to the other yellows, that looks so gold. I mean, obviously we have Fairy Fire. I think it's going to be, you know, it's quite close to Copacetic's Fiesta, but it doesn't have that texture. It's a very smooth shadow in comparison, but you could see they're like the same color. I think right now, though, Fiesta is like winning for me just because it's the most like poppy and fun. This one right here is Daybreak from Terra Moons. It's too light for sure. And it also has a pink shift, again, with all these yellow pink shifts. That's so interesting to me. I wonder if it's just like a very easy shadow to make, so a lot of brands gravitate to the shift. I don't know if anything else in here is going to work. I think this is Butter Pucker, right? This is Butter Pucker from Divina. I think it's also going to be just too light. Yeah, I mean, it's like a light gold. Okay, let's go with Fiesta from Copacetic. I kind of think if I could like pick a shadow that was like a dream shadow, it would be somewhere between these two. Like it would be Chicky with Fiesta on top of it. Okay, so now let's do that top left shade. I believe that says Squeeze My Lime in these photos. So it looks like a light greeny gold. I mean, since we just talked about it, Sunbeam Citrine from Quicksand Cosmetics comes to mind as an option. Whatever this is, it isn't labeled. It's definitely from Quicksand because it's with those shadows, but it doesn't have a name. I must have like lost the sticker on the back. I'll have to send a clip of this to Christy and ask her if she knows what this is. That one's like really flaky. I'd call it more of a topper, but it is like a gold to pink. Christy, if you're watching, what shadow is this? Please tell me. I would like to label it. Let's just go with Sunbeam Citrine. Our next shimmer is like a deeper teal. It's called Club Soda. But in Monica swatches, it almost looks like it has a brighter... It almost looks like it has a brighter blue base. Let's see what we could just like find in the teal department though. I don't think there's anything here that is like remotely close to it. That is a shimmer at least. Same here. I mean, there is this one. I think this is Sherbet, right? From Sydney Grace. Yes, that is Sherbet, but it is just like, it has no shift. It's just a shimmer. So I think we're gonna put this aside. We might have a few contenders here. So this is from Carolina's Pixie Glow palette, and then this was actually in a bundle with her palette. These are named after, I think, her daughters, but this is Iris. So unnamed from the palette, Iris. This is probably from Sugar Drizzle, but this is like that one private labeled teal shadow that's in literally every palette. But it doesn't look like that's what this one is. This is actually from a Gourmande Girls palette. This is from like the Galactic Gourmande palette, but I think this one has a purple shift to it. Yeah, it's just like too light. So we do have these two as contenders here. I think this is Moonwalk from Terra Moons. Yeah. Which looks very similar to Iris. I believe I did compare these when they first came out. They're like pretty close. I think Moonwalk has a blacker base like next to each other. You could kind of see that they look a little different, but like these would look the same, virtually the same on the eye, I think. This might just be too blue, but this is Crown Jewel from Cleona. Yeah, I mean, there's no green in there whatsoever. Have some options in here. These are all my Pretties for Your Face shadows, so let's see. Oh, and we have Looksee at the bottom here, but I used to have some greens from Looksee, but I dropped them and broke them. It was very sad, but also like not so devastating because their shadows are very affordable. It's like $3 a shadow, but let's see. Blue green. I think this one is Miss Argentina. Oh no, this one's Enchanted Forest, which means this one's Miss Argentina. So let's look at Miss Argentina. And then this one is Enchanted Forest. I think if it shifted, oh wait, let's focus here. If it shifted between Miss Argentina and Enchanted Forest, like that's what we're looking for. But I think we're just gonna go with Iris from Carolina's collab. I might have just been looking at a swatch of, I'm so sorry, I can't read this because it's like in cursive, but I think it's called I'll Have Another. I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. Okay. It looks like I was looking at two different shadows here. So this one up here is more green, and then this one down here is like more of a bright blue. I was not looking at a shift. I was looking at legitimately two different shadows, and I don't know why I didn't realize that earlier. Monica made that very obvious. I'm just dumb. So if we're going for a more blue one though, we could pull this one from Carolina's palette. I think that's perfectly fine. But the other option would be we could use Enchanted Forest and then Miss Argentina. Or no, Miss Argentina, then Enchanted Forest, but yeah, I think we'll be good. Oh, then we have, this one is interesting. This one's called Mint to Be, and in the pan, it looks black with gold sparkles, and Monica swatches. Which one is this one? It looks like, yeah, it looks like it's like a, it just looks like a green multichrome. Like it's a green that shifts all different colors. So it must just be like very deceiving in the pan. Okay, let's see if we can find like a deep green that shifts a bunch of different colors. This is Chromatosphere from Menagerie. I have it as a single, but I believe it comes in the Indigo Ink palette. You could just see how stained my hands are. I mean, there isn't so much of a shift there. It's more just like a black-based green. This is Sophia from Carolina's collab, but I think it's just like too gold. Yeah. This is Mood Ring from Terra Moons. I think that's like our closest contender right now. The other one that comes to mind, this is Medusa from Quicksand Cosmetics. It's like somewhere between these two. What about, where was that green one that I swatched earlier from Mon Professional? This is Grunge Master from Mon Professional. And then this one is Cosmic Collision from Mon Professional. It's funny because earlier when I was like, oh, this has blue in it, it looked too green, and then now that it's next to all these greens, it looks too blue. I don't know what to pick. This one right here is the Cat's Meow from Quicksand Cosmetics. It's not so much of a multichrome, that's like a hollow. This is Evil Olive from Quicksand. I think this one's gonna be too gold. Oh my god, wow, that looks like purple next to these, huh? That's so interesting when you put colors next to each other. Where is Viper? Where is Viper from Quicksand Cosmetics? Okay, well, here's Kartuk from Quicksand, but that's just too bright. I don't know where I put Viper. It's been brought to my attention that we have a runaway eyeshadow here. I'm not quite sure where it is. It's probably in another palette, but like at first glance, I don't see it anywhere. I'm like scanning my quicksand ones too. Like, am I just missing it because it's a different color in the pan? But like, I don't think it's here. It's gotta be like in another palette by accident, huh? Oh well, okay, I'll find it eventually, but Viper's not here right now, so these are our options. Let's go with, to keep it like bright, let's go with Medusa. I think Medusa will like keep it nice and bright. Our next shimmer is called Mojitos Every Day. It kind of looks like Bloodline from Cleona, which we put in another palette, so let's look for some contenders. I have to have, like with all the eyeshadows I have to have another eyeshadow that looks like that. Okay, let's look at some of these Shine by SD ones, because there are a lot of those like pinky, purpley ones here. This is Nightmare Eyes from the M. Jones Bazaar Volta collab. Oh my god, my hand is too green. Hold. We'll swatch on my other hand. So that's Nightmare Eyes. It's not like too far off. I think it has more like, it has like little tiny green flecks in it. This is Fairy Stone from the same collab. I think that one's like too purple. Soothsayer, I think this one has more of a blue base to it though. Yeah. It's not far off from Bloodline in like the essence of like that purple to green shift. So I think this is a contender. Where did I just put that down? Here, put that to the side. This one is Queen of Chaos from the same collab. Oh no, it's Queen of Chaos for sure. That looks just like Bloodline from Cleona. Hold on, let me go get a comparison for you. Let me grab Bloodline from the other palette. Bloodline is a little bit more pink, but it's pretty darn close. It's pretty darn close. So I think we're gonna do it. We're gonna go with Soothsayer from Shine by SD. Okay, here is our palette so far. So we have all the shimmers in here. This is definitely a very shimmer heavy palette. So let's start off with the mattes now. So in the top middle, we have Born to Rum. I get it. Okay, so for that, let's see, I could put away Pretties for Your Face. None of these are matte. I don't think this is gonna be correct. And this is Photosynthetic from Terra Moons. Looking at the photos, it's much more of like an olive though. Let's see. This is Envy from Dandelions Co. That's like the same color but darker. Still not what I'm looking for here. Okay. This is Dirty Martini from Dandelions Co. I mean, if it was darker, I think Carolina's palette actually has an olive in it. Hold on. Or actually, I'm looking at a shadow right now that might work, but let's pull them both out. So this is the one from Carolina's palette that I was talking about. Again, her palette has no names. That's pretty darn close to the picture I'm looking at. The other one that I thought of was Milda from Shroud. This is from the Divinity palette. Doesn't want to swatch, apparently. I guess not on the palm of my hand. My fingers are just like, we're done. Yeah, we're gonna go with Carolina's shadow. That's pretty darn close. Another one that comes to mind is I think it's called like Moon Moss. It's from the Shroud Moonfall palette, but I think this is still closer. So, all right, our next matte is called Summertime, and it looks like a blue-based green. So, look at that. Hold, please. Let me get some micellar water. Not sponsored, but here's some micellar water. I should have just done this to begin with. I don't know why I didn't. My fingers are still kind of stained, but we're looking better. We're looking better. We have an arm to use. So Summertime is definitely a blue-based green like that shade from ABH, but there are two others that come to mind that are very close. This is Lemna from Copacetic and Rocky Makeup's collab. I think we used this in a previous video and I looked up what Lemna was, but it is duckweed, if you didn't know. Wow, look how sparkly my hand is right now, even with the micellar water. So like, that's pretty spot on for what we're looking for. The other one that does come to mind, and I don't know if it'll be any better. Looking at it though, I don't think so. This is Kelly from Viseart. That is like much more of like a Kelly green. So yeah, let's go with Lemna. Have you ever done that? Like accidentally dug your nail into an eyeshadow and then like you could see now it is stuck under my nail. I'm gonna need to like scrape that out. Again, I'm going to a wedding tonight, so yeah, this is great. Don't ask me why I decided to do this, okay? Okay, it looks like our last shade is called Rum of My, and then it's actually cut off and I can't read it. So, Rum of My something is what we're looking for here. But actually, this is the funny thing. I think this is Rum of My whatever. And then this shadow we're missing, which is like actually a lime green. So that one's Born to Rum. Actually, I don't know if I'd call it a lime. It's like just a bright green. I don't know. It has like lime essence to it. I don't know. I think we've already gone over on this channel that I know nothing about colors. Okay, let's see what we got. This is from the Saints, Angels, Sinners Unity palette. I promise I'm going to do a video soon because it's been a while and some of you are like, I don't know what you're talking about. But long story short, I was an affiliate for this brand. I no longer am associated with the brand. Some things went down. If you look it up on Reddit, I'm sure there are a plethora of options for you to read about it. Anyway. That's like pretty close to what we're looking for. I don't know if I'd have another shade like that. This might be like the brightest green in my collection. Yeah, looking through everything that I have, this is definitely going to be the closest. So let's just pop it in. So here is our finished palette. So we have Sunbeams Citrine from Quicksand, that Saints, Angels, Sinners shade. This is from the Black Moxie and Pixie Glow palette. This is Iris from Black Moxie and Pixie Glow. This is Fiesta from Copacetic. This is Medusa from Quicksand Cosmetics. This is Lemna from Copacetic and Rocky Makeup. This is Soothsayer from Bizarre Volta, M. Jones, and Shine by SD. And this is from Carolina's palette. Carolina, you gotta bring your palette back. Clearly, I'm just like giving it so much advertisement today. I do not have affiliate codes for any of these brands, but again, if you look at the community codes list, lots of people have codes for Copacetic as well as for Black Moxie. So definitely check them out. Same thing with Shine by SD, actually. I do not have a code, but there are people on there with a Shine by SD code. So let's swatch this out. Okay, here we go. This is our finished palette. So one last time, Sunbeam Citrine from Quicksand Cosmetics, that Saints, Angels, Sinners shade, the shade from the Black Moxie and Pixie Glow palette, Iris from Black Moxie and Pixie Glow, Fiesta from Copacetic Cosmetics, Medusa from Quicksand Cosmetics, Lemna from Copacetic and Rocky Makeup, Soothsayer from Shine by SD and the Bizarre Volta and M. Jones collab, and then that dark green from the Black Moxie and Pixie Glow palette. Okay, here are both of our finished palettes from today. Hope you had fun building this with me. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up with your glittery, grubby, stained hands. Lots of glitter there today. And leave a comment down below. Let me know, did you buy these palettes? Did you dupe them out? Let me know if you actually have a dupe for this one shade where I put Dragon Hollow down. I hope you all have a great day or night wherever you are. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay weird. Bye!